Hi, welcome to a wonderful Friday morning. It's great. I love Fridays, and I'm wearing what I can only describe as a wonderful, wonderful shirt. I know I do have a good collection of them. Let me just put this aside, show you this beauty. Look at this. What do we think of this? It's a cracker, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to talk here about Jenny Gilruth, about mobile phones, and the fact that Jenny doesn't have a clue about what she's doing or any understanding of young people today. There has been for some time, I think, a concern that mobile phones distract children generally, which is true. It's becoming a meme. You can never get your kids off the phone and that because they live their whole lives connected. And it can be problematic in school if the teacher's trying to teach something and all the kids are on the phone, da, 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 and they're not paying attention in the class. So Jenny Gilruth has come up with this wonderful plan to allow teachers or allow head teachers at least, to ban mobile phones from the classroom. And she's thinking that this may be a good thing. So she's giving this guidance out and allowing this to be a thing so she can empower teachers to remove phones from the classroom in a hope that the children will become more attentive to their studies. That's the plan. And hopefully also it will reduce sort of bullying in school because you know what kids are like and so forth. Now, I think I can see the reasoning behind it, absolutely. And I think we all can see the reasoning behind this. It's a reasonable thing to do in terms of looking at it from a logical point of view. Apart from one thing, head teachers already have that power. She's making a big song and dance about giving head teachers this particular power, but they've already got it. So it's like, does she not understand? Does she not know the rules of schools? Does she not know her own brief in any way? Seems likely. But where she's also going to fail, and I think this is where it's going to fail and fall apart, because we're talking about this, like I say, from a reasonable, logical point of view. But you're not dealing with reasonable, logical people. You're dealing with kids who have grown up their entire lives lived digitally connected. This isn't a new technology that they've only had for a week or an hour or even a year. These kids were born with a phone in their hand. To these kids today, being connected and on that phone is literally part of their lives. If you remove those phones, I don't think mentally they could cope. I think the anxiety and the stress of not necessarily not even being on the phone, but not having the phone in their possession would cause such an anxiety among these children that they wouldn't be able to concentrate on the lessons, and far from improving any kind of learning situation, improving the ability for kids to take on information, to take on learning, to take on these things, I believe it would possibly make it harder. Now, I'm not a psychologist in any way, but I've seen with my own eyes and my own experiences, younger members of the family, nieces and nephews and that, and how they literally cannot put the phone out of their hands. My wife is the same. Sits down at night. Oh yeah, we'll sit and watch a film. We'll go, ooh, ooh. And then I'll look over to her and she's sitting there and she's got the phone in her hand and I'll say, you're not watching it? Yeah, I'm watching it. And so what hope have kids got? And what hope has any teacher got in taking the phones off these kids in order to teach them whatever it is? Zero chance, zero ability. And it will cause more problems than it would possibly ever solve. So what is the solution? I think Partially, you have to deal with it with the children and explain that, okay, we're not taking the phones off you. You've got them, but you put them on your desk face down in front of you. They're there. They're not going away, and they're in your sight line. And so the kids, even though they're not with them, they're not on them, will have that sight to the phone. And therefore, it's not, you're not going to get that anxiety of not having the phone with you. That's one of them. Now, not having the phone in your hand is a different thing altogether, but it's a lot easier than not having the phone. That's number one. I think also making lessons perhaps slightly shorter, only 5 minutes or so, 5 or 6 minutes shorter, would allow more ease. These are only suggestions. I mean, I don't know, but it's suggestions. Slightly shorter lessons, let them get back on, boom, 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 because they need it. Because if you look, that's all they do. They're online, social media, all the time, TikTok, whatever, Instagram, whatever. And I'll tell you a little side effect about mobile phones. And this is absolutely true. You can see this with your own eyes. When most of us old farts, whatever, the old ones, grew up, whenever you went into a toilet, graffiti everywhere, wasn't there? You walk into a toilet now, when's the last time you saw graffiti? It's because when people go into a toilet, they don't pull out something bored while they're having a crap or something and write on the door. No, sit down, pull their phone out. Do it. And so, in actual fact, the mobile phone has cleaned the world up and there's no graffiti anymore. I kind of miss it. It's weird, isn't it? So there are positives and negatives, but I don't think Jenny Gilruth has any clue at all when she says, take the phones out of the hands of children. I think there'll be trouble. There will be absolute screaming fits of kids. No! They won't be able to cope. Honestly, my 3-year-old niece would sit there on the iPhone and 3. She's now 12-year-old, other niece, 12-year-old niece. Phone's never out of her hand. And she's always tick, 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 tick to all her friends. You can't take these phones off these kids. It won't work. Because they won't work. They will just crash and burn. Poor old Jenny. Doesn't have a clue, does she? Hey-ho, let me know what you think. Do you think kids could give them up easily? Have you seen this? Don't know. Let me know. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Take care. Goodbye.